Hi, I am Jenny Riot,
Hi, I'm Vivek Saxena.
and Vivek and I are doing this podcast, which is dedicated to the enterprise of leadership coaching, and particularly the practice of leadership coaching in India. This short video serves as an introduction to us, as well as it sets a context for this podcast series. We'll begin by introducing ourselves and then we'll talk more about our intention for this podcast, what is our broad approach, and the orientation for the conversations that we'll be having as part of this endeavor. Vivek, would you like to kick off by introducing yourself?
Thank you. So I work as an executive coach, a leadership coach. Um, to give you some idea of my life journey, I have degrees from IIT, IIM, and that was the conservative, smart thing to do, and perhaps it still is. And through that, I got a job in the US in software sales, which I had for some 5-ish years. Um, I got to a point where I concluded for myself that just for my greater satisfaction and aspiration, personal aspiration, I should explore some other career. And through just experimenting and looking around, I found coaching. Coaching found me, and in that process of looking around, I got a 1 year degree in counseling from a school in Bangalore. I got a certification in coaching from a school in San Francisco. The San Francisco school also extended to me the invitation to train with them as a faculty member. So I was part of their teaching cohort in programs in San Francisco and in Singapore. This went on for some 5-6 years and was really good learning. And along with that, I also started my private practice as a coach, which was primarily in India. This was across a variety of clients across different verticals like automobiles and IT and pharmaceutical and retail, and across various designations in the corporate arena, right from mid-management to C-level executives. That's a bit about me. How about you, Jenny? What's been your journey been like?
Um, Vivek, I've been interested in the topic of human psychology from my younger years, where I wondered about why people behave the way they behave. The human drama, the human emotion, the human behavior has held my fascination. Um, and at that time, like you said, the conservative path for you was the IIT IIM route. For me, I didn't know what profession to choose that could express this interest. And then life happens and life takes you where it takes you. But in 2008, I found myself living in the UK and uh, continuing to ask myself, what is it that I really wanted to do in my career? I was working in a renewable energy company as head of compliance. But as noble as the industry was, it didn't really, much like you, that story didn't really satisfy me. And I just knew that I wanted to shape my career and take its direction towards human development, human growth. And that's when I actually came across coaching. I came across this master's program in coaching and human development at the Oxford Brookes University. It was a 2-year program, 2-year master's program. And I remember the first weekend being at the course. This was for professionals. So the courses, the education and teaching would happen over a weekend. And I remember being there over the first weekend and telling myself, this is home. I'm home. And that was back in 2008. Um, and through this course, what became available to me was a multidisciplinary approach to human development. Um, the course exposed me to anthropology, sociology, psychology, organizational behavior, adult development theories, transformational learning theories, and so on and so forth. And so I came out of this starting to practice as a freelance coach in the UK and with a very expansive and integrative perspective on what it means to grow and develop as a human being. Then in the UK, I got attached to various consultancies, the coaching and training consultancies, and did a lot of coaching work through those assignments that would come through these consultancies, along with having my own private practice as well. In 2012, I relocated to India. And shortly after relocating, I started Thinking Partners, which is a coaching and leadership development consultancy. And through Thinking Partners, I worked with mid-management to CEO level leaders and teams. Been also involved in culture change initiatives, and through various sectors such as the MNCs, the Indian business houses, the financial services sector, manufacturing sector, startups, startup founders, and so on and so forth. And where I am today in my practice, having been coaching people and teams for over 15 years, is that all the knowledge and experience is there, somewhere there, when I'm in the coaching space, but I let it emerge on its own. And I try and be as much as possible in the space of unknowing and in this relational emergent space with my coaches, with my clients. That's where I find myself today as a coach. So that's about me. Vivek, do you want to share what our intention for this podcast is?
Yeah. So yeah, it's between Ginny and I would say we have some 30 odd years of experience as coaches, as practicing coaches. And we both have known each other for about 7, 8 years. And, through that, we've been both friends and done some corporate work together. And, through our many conversations, and more recently, earlier this year, we both came to the conclusion that we should commit to what we were naming as produce valuable new knowledge and share it with others. I think that is the primary intention as a foundation of our podcast.
Yeah.
We believe through our practice, we've experienced what the coaching world is like. We've been through our successes and failures, and we want to endeavor to bring to attention our understanding of what are some important conversations to have about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you say that, Ginny?
Yeah, what I'd add to that, Vivek, is that there was a realization between the two of us that there are with coaching continuing to be a growing field of practice. There are lots of schools of coaching emerging. And therefore, the theoretical knowledge base that informs coaching practice is quite wide and deep and prolific now. Whereas we felt that particularly in the Indian context, there is not necessarily a lot of conversation around the lived and the practiced component of coaching. And so I think we've arrived at a very compelling proposition that we are going to focus on this move from theory of coaching to the practice of coaching. From our conversations with other coaches, from some of the supervision work we've done, there is a sense that whatever theory we may have been trained in, whatever approach we may have been trained in, whatever techniques we have been trained in, when we do step into the field to do actual coaching, we are confronted, there are questions, there are challenges, and Vivek and I want to speak to that part of our practice and bring out topics and bring out themes that are relevant to the practice of coaching.
Yeah, and just to qualify that a little bit more, though we've had academic learning out in the West to begin with, at least, and both of us have had clients across the borders, but a predominant body of work is in India, and much of the impulse and also the conversations we'll have will emerge from the experience practicing in India. That would be the body of work we leverage on to decide what requires more commentary and how to go about having a conversation about.
Yeah.
So a little bit on how we'll go about doing this. Between us, we frequently discuss things, and we'll, through our conversation, determine what is a useful topic to further comment on. And our intention will be to remain in the reflective thinking and critical thinking mode and understand what new distinctions we can bring and highlight, which will be of service to our diverse audience, whoever may decide to have a listen to it. And also, from time to time, we'll invite other practitioners, other coaches, whoever else who might be interested to participate with us through this podcast.
Yeah, and the spirit will remain self-reflective. Our endeavor is to conduct these conversations, undertake these conversations, and imbue them with the spirit of coaching. So we expect them to be self-reflective, whilst we do a lot of prep in bringing distinctions or some form of a structure and flow to the conversation. But we'd also like to marry that prep with an experience of an emergent conversation that Vivek and I are having, and that we'll invite other people to have with us. I think the experience would that be of making sense of our lived experience, So that is the intention of how we want to approach these conversations.
Yeah. So the actual flow of any such forthcoming episode will maybe have 2 or 3 core points that we've already discussed upon, but then in the recorded conversation, we'll be having a real conversation as things emerge, as the conversation progresses. So it'll be a combination of thought through points and also some ongoing reflection.
Yeah, much like how we are having this conversation, Vivek.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and I think we're new at this. We're going to learn as we go along, and but that's really just our intention of contributing to the field of coaching,
Okay. So we once again, welcome you all to listen in, and hopefully you'll find our podcast useful. We invite all comments and suggestions and questions that you may have through listening to any of our episodes. And we've created an exclusive email ID for the purpose of this podcast, which you can use to get in touch with us and communicate your thoughts. So that email is the same as the YouTube handle of the podcast, but let me name it anyway. It is leadershipcoachingindia@gmail.com. So we'd be delighted to hear your views and questions. And we look forward to how this podcast shapes up.
I hope you enjoy listening to us. Thank you.
Thank you.